What's good, Teal? This is Denny.
This is James from TeaDB bringing you episode 210. We have, our wish almost came true. We have some Korean green tea we are bringing on. This is actually from 2016. It's but we are going to give it a try. Neither of us have had it before. It's the Sejak, which is the second picking of leaves. Yeah,
it's so annoying.
It gets more out of focus as you get closer.
It's bad.
Yeah. Well, filming out of focus improves our chances of the Oscars.
Second pluck.
There you go. So, it's been a very long time since I brewed a tea like this. So we're gonna wing it.
Cool.
Because that's the only choice we have.
Great.
So we are going to preheat. My variable temperature is working. That feels awfully hot. I have this set to green tea temperature, as you can see there. But that is... We'll
find out.
We're really going to be winging this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while you're doing this, for folks out there who are wondering about how to wing a tea that they've never approached before, what would you recommend?
Go off of whatever past experiences you do have.
Yeah.
With the tea.
Yeah.
So that is what I'm doing right now.
Right. So approach it as if you were approaching a tea that you think is pretty similar to this tea.
Smells very nice.
It has a really nutty smell, like a really sweet and really, really nutty smell.
Yep.
Like almond, kind of a little bit almondy, sort of like maybe even pecan.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And because that water is, I'm going to actually put it back. We're going to actually use this water to brew. Because it's kind of hot, we're just going to see how this goes.
Cool.
Yeah. We're going to use the sort of like technique of moving it around vessels to cool the water just a little bit.
Yep.
So.
No rules in tea.
Yeah, except the wrong ones.
That's a quote. That's a
I don't
quote,
even think that quote made sense. Let's be real.
They're still wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
There's no rules. They're just wrong. Anyway, yeah, for you folks out there who have never had a Korean green tea, for example, that is the second pluck, then yeah, try. Hopefully, you have enough that you can kind of mess it up. It's always better to err on less than more. So less leaf, less heat, less time than more leaf, more heat, more time. You can always add leaf, heat, and time. You can't subtract them.
Yeah, so better to end up with a lighter brew also than a significantly nasty one.
Indeed, and today's a perfect day. It's nice and sunny out in Seattle today, 70s-ish, it's been dreary.
It has been.
Early May.
Welcome.
This.
Yeah, so this is actually kind of a seasonal treat.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Cheers, y'all. So, in true TeaDB's fashion, I'm going to say some weird crap. So, I'm getting iodine.
Well, what does that... I'm not even sure what
Maybe my backpacking homies will know what that tastes like. It's not quite metallic, but it has a kind of almost minerally, chemically metallic kind of like punch in the very beginning of it.
So
not in a bad way.
What do you think? Was that too light, you think?
Actually, it was pretty good.
Yeah, you don't think it was too light?
It wasn't a lot of body, but I think we're not going to get
it's a green tea,
with the first steeping as well.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So
okay. All right. Well, we are going to
just smooth and tasty for sure.
Wing this again.
We can also, yeah.
So
that definitely does look pretty hot.
Yeah, the water looks very hot, which is concerning to me because I don't want to completely overbrew the tea.
Right.
So we're gonna sit on this for a little bit and let it cool. I rarely use the variable temperature setting on this kettle, so much so that I'm a little bit concerned it's no longer working. I forgot how to make non-boiling water.
Right.
So
for you folks out there, boil your water, leave it uncovered for a minute or two. Give it a shot that way.
Yep.
It's usually good.
So this is like the way that people would normally do it. Having this sort of device is nice if it worked.
Yeah, indeed.
So
what in terms of proportions and such, what do we have going on here?
So this thing is 150 milliliters, but the thing with these teas, especially these lighter teas, is you don't necessarily need to fill the vessel all the way.
Right.
So I may have filled the vessel maybe 2/3 or halfway with water.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't necessarily make 150 milliliters of tea out of that. So just another thing of
Pineapple.
sort of winging it. Yeah, pineapple?
Pineapple.
I get a lot of the nutty notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Does this smell like a Chinese tea or a Japanese green tea to you?
More Japanese than Chinese.
Interesting.
In my opinion.
And why is that?
There's something kind of more smoky and I want to say more like earthy, more like vegetal than, in my experience, very limited experience with Chinese versus Japanese tea. I tend to, Japanese teas that I've had, and there's a huge variety of them, you can get them that taste like hay, but in general I've had them be Swedish, and with fruit, and I'm getting more of that in this, right? So, but it's got that really nuttiness, and then I think it has a really strong nose on some sort of sweet tropical fruits. I got pineapple, maybe a little bit of passion fruit. Great nose.
What about grassiness? Any of that in this?
Not at all. Not that I can. I'm not picking it up.
Because I feel like for some Japanese green teas, that's one of my.
That's a characteristic flavor.
Sort of
yeah.
That freshly mown grass flavor.
Absolutely. Yeah. You might get that with some really, really green vegetal high mountain oolongs too. But that sort of grassy, crisp taste. But yeah, no, this is sweet, smooth.
Yep. And I almost feel like this water is still too hot, but because it's TeaDB, because we don't want to wait for a long time, I'm going to pour it into the cups and do it that way.
Yeah,
again.
sure.
So maybe not.
And this is, so for you folks out there watching too, this is a great way to make it so that you can be drinking your tea a little bit more quickly as well. I wouldn't probably do it this way, but...
this is very winging it.
Yeah.
So once you get a better grasp of the tea, you can probably, like, if I had brewed this tea a few other times, which I probably should have done, probably could have nailed down some parameters a little bit more easily. I would say that also you guys probably noticed that the steep time was extremely short.
Yeah.
You guys probably also noticed that we did not rinse the tea. Usually for at least decent quality green teas, you don't necessarily rinse.
Yeah.
And so the first steep was kind of also hydrating the leaves, so it sort of served that function too.
Right.
So the second steep, as a result, is usually stronger. So you'll reduce the steep time in that case.
Let's give it a shot. Some almost oils on the tea too. So
cheers. It's definitely fuller.
Yeah, it still has that, excuse me, this sort of like deep, round, iodine-y, I mean, it's really how I'm experiencing it, front, where it's not quite the body, but there's this like full, deep, characteristic flavor. It's almost like sort of oceanic, and then it transitions into a really nice green, those sort of more typical green flavors. With some grapefruit.
So would you say salty or seaweedy at all, or?
I think seaweedy would be a great description. So, yeah, just that hint of kind of vegetal saltiness that you would get from. Almost if you guys have had a Japanese seaweed salad at like a sushi restaurant or something like that, not nearly as strong, and that dish has so much texture and different experiences going on in them. But really uniquely iodine-y, and again, not in a bad way. I mean, this is a unique experience for me, and I enjoy that. Maybe for you folks who really just want to drink what you like in terms of flavors, it might not be a good match for you. But if you're out there trying, looking for new tastes, new flavors, this might be an interesting tea. Yeah.
And do you get any of that sort of iodine flavor in like the Japanese green tea that you've been brewing up?
No.
Okay.
No.
So fairly different in that sense. What do you think as far as how it turned out? Do you think we should push it a little bit more?
I think we can. It's not at all bitter. It's definitely not too hot, but there's good flavor. I want there to be a little more body in the mid mid phase.
So we'll skip the cup step this time, and we're just gonna pour straight in. We're gonna go for
YOLO. YOLO.
30 seconds or so.
All right. Very good. And leaf quality looks wonderful.
Really small leaves.
Yeah, which is gonna be typical.
Yeah, typical green tea sort of thing. Probably expect to get 4 infusions, three or 4 infusions, depending on how far you want to go.
This is a morning, afternoon tea for me. Perfect right now on a day like today. If I had a super great portable tea setup, which I have done sometimes, this would be a wonderful picnic tea. It just feels like energizing, crisp, light, but plenty to notice. So I'm actually really enjoying this.
Yeah,
it's kind of a perfect setting today for it too as well. So
this is probably how would this do on the TeaDB mom test?
Mom's approve of
Mom's
this.
approved. Okay, there you go.
And we're gonna stamp the mom approval button. We're gonna have our editor Stevie take care of that.
Stevie is a very slacking editor,
That's
I must
true.
say. He rarely does what we tell him to do.
He's always in the corner drinking
Yeah.
tea.
Yeah.
Keeping it healthy, but damn him. So the leaves are completely expanded now. They're almost losing a little bit of color. They're still nice and verdant, though.
Yeah, they smell a little bit more vegetal and a little bit more cooked at this point. I would say.
love the aroma in the cup.
Really?
To be honest with you. Yeah, it's not doesn't taste as pineapple-y as it smells, but I'm getting a lot. Yeah, just a really wonderful sort of pineapple finish.
And honestly, for a tea like this, I would only want to drink 3 or 4 cups of it. To be honest, it's not something that I could chug all day, and it's sort of like this really hearty comfort beverage like some oolongs or pu'er can be.
Although I would say that this would be a wonderful iced tea.
Absolutely, yes.
So
toss some leaves in overnight.
Totally, yeah. Or sun tea, throw it in a mason jar and just leave it in the windowsill. And you can even do that with, let's say you go through 3 steepings like this, throw it in a mason jar, and give it a day, and it'll still be nice. So you can definitely get some knowledge out of that. And check out TeaDB.org. We have some great videos on increasing longevity between sessions and things like that. I think James has done 2 in-between episodes on that. So check those videos out. Just Google TeaDB sessions maybe.
Or look under like the brewing tag or something like that, or tea learning or something like that. So this infusion, we pushed it a little bit more. We didn't cool down the water quite as much, and we steeped it for 20-30 seconds. What are you getting off of it? There's a little bit light, bitter, nutty note to it.
Yep.
Not much, though.
Yep. It's just coming now, so I've been sort of sitting here experiencing. Yeah, it's just coming now. So, but it's not in any way oppressive or unpleasant. It's subtle. It's not. Bitter is bad when you're not drinking anything but the experience of bitterness. And I believe actually I learned about this recently. We have way more bitter sensors on our palates than we do sweet and sour and things like that. Because actually bitterness is how we tell if things are poisonous and toxic.
Huh,
interesting.
That makes sense.
Anyway, so
what does that mean, you damn nerd?
What it doesn't really mean that much. It's kind of an interesting tidbit. Really though, you have a lot of brain space, you could say neurologically, to sense bitter notes, and so they will be strong. And so all that means is don't overbrew your tea. Don't use too hot of water, especially on a green tea like this. So, but this is I'm enjoying it. It's a little bit bolder, a little bit bigger. I mean, I think we've lost some of the height of this tea. Some of those like little softer, crisper notes.
And I think those softer, crisper notes would probably only be present on first, second infusion, maybe something like that at this point. On a final note, so this tea is from 2016. What do you think this tea would have been like if we were to drink it, have consumed it very fresh?
It might be a little bit more vegetal, maybe a little bit more crisp. I have a hard time imagining it would be significantly different, though. I mean, it hasn't aged long enough where we're really tasting any of the age, in my opinion. So I think it's just sort of like
loses a little bit of freshness.
Yeah, that's mostly it. So yeah, I mean, this would have been ideal to have drank immediately. Like most green teas, you tend to want to drink them quickly, and black teas as well, and white teas. Most teas except for pu'er. No, this is really enjoyable. I would recommend this tea, I think, for folks to try out. Definitely not quite directly smack dab in the middle of any sort of green tea category that I've experienced so far. So that's kind of a, you know, novelty is appreciated, of course.
Yeah, and it has endured through this haphazard brewing as well, so that speaks a little bit to its robustness.
If folks want to pick this up, you can at teasunique.com. And I'm assuming this was sent over to us.
Yeah, it was. So it looks like it was harvested a little bit over a year ago. The Sejak second pluck in Mount Jiri in Korea. So,
yeah. So, and of course, for more on tea things in general, James, if they want that information, what should they do?
They should check us out at tdb.org, releasing... ORG sounds so great. They're releasing lots of videos. Hit that subscribe button down below. Go on to your mom's YouTube account and hit the subscribe button down below. This is how far we've fallen in order to improve our subscriber accounts. We're mainly just kidding around. Mainly. Yeah. So I think that just about wraps it up.
Shout out to our awesome audience who's been supportive of the channel and supportive of us individually
over
as well.
4 years now.
We've had a blast doing the show. Thank you folks for watching. Check us out, subscribe, do all that cool fun stuff, and stay tuned for the next episode 211.
Indeed.
Cheers.